Hi, thank you for joining me once again for another process video, and today's video is day 24 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, series 16, and today's sketch, which you can see in the top left hand corner there, has been created by Kristen Foster. Kristen goes as Scrapping on the Fly on YouTube. I'll put her details in the comments box down below, and she is so lovely to watch. If you want somebody new to watch, do go and check out her channel. So Kristen absolutely loves rainbows, and you can see that from her sketch. So I've decided to go along with the rainbow theme. Rather than creating arcs, I'm going to create triangles for my layout. And I'm using Vicki Boutin's Bold and Bright, but I've also gone in to my scraps and chosen some other bits and pieces from other collections just to fill in the blanks. I don't have a lot of Bold and Bright. I just had the project pad. So I wanted to bring in some other bits and pieces rather than having all neutrals, because there are a lot of background papers in that pad. But that navy blue one at the end is from the pad. So are the hearts, and then one of the neutrals, the orangey yellow neutral, I think there, plus that blue with the green dots actually. So to create these triangles, I've cut rectangles that are 7 inches tall by 4 inches wide, and then you saw I marked the middle of one of the long side on the right hand side of the triangle, and then I cut from point to that middle point, and then from that middle point to the other point. I hope that makes sense to create the triangle. So now I'm going through with my Tim Holtz edge distresser, and I'm just going to distress the edges of each of these triangles and lay them down. So you can see that first paper there with the white dots isn't from Bold and Bright. That's actually a Christmas paper that came from my scraps. That second paper is from Bold and Bright. This third one is actually from my Halloween stash. You can see probably on the back there as I turn it over, it's got all sorts of candy pieces on there. So yes, I've tried to mix in some old and new to create this layout, and really I just wanted to get that rainbow going from red through to the blue. I haven't gone right the way through adding the purples and things as well, but I've got lots of blues, and it suits the photo really nicely because this is a picture of us on our holiday, our cruise that we did this summer, and it's in Taranto, which is right at the southern point of Italy. So I went through and merrily put these triangles down, and then realised that I wanted them lying the other way round. So I'm carefully peeling each one up and putting them the other way round. I wanted the triangle to show at the top, if that makes sense. So I had to tuck the rest of them under the first one rather than laying them on top of the first one. So now I've done that, I'm just going to try and position them back down again. So I stuck that down, then realised I needed to put this stack under. And I'm trying to use my T-square to get it more or less straight, but in the end I decided to just get the rest of the triangles stuck down, and then I can fiddle about with them afterwards, because they've been stuck with my ATG gun, so I've got a little bit of time to manoeuvre them about before they stick permanently. So that's the sort of as close as I'm going to get with that stack now. And then I'm going to start with the last triangle, which is that navy blue with the dots all over it, and then move backwards. And those two that are next to it are both 49 and market papers, again just in my scraps. So I had to find fairly big scraps because, like I say, I needed to cut the rectangle 7 inch by 4 inch, but it worked out okay. I had enough, so all was good. And I've kept all the offcuts, they've gone back into my scraps boxes, so I'm sure I'll be using those for something else in the future. So here's that T-square again, just to try and get this last one straight in line with the other ones, and then just these last two to pop down now, and then I can start building the rest of the layout. So I tried to do the 3 pictures that Kristen has on her sketch, but it just didn't work for me. So I've decided to go with just one 4x6 photo of us as a family. And I'm going to embellish using a cut apart and some other bits and pieces. So you'll see that in due course. So this is that last piece going down now. I think this was the thing that took the longest actually, just getting all these triangles cut and then stuck down onto the page. So now I'm just going to add a bit more tape just to make sure it's all secure, and then coming in with the papery pack from Bold and Bright. First of all, this is the paper that I was talking about that I wanted to use the cut apart from, and it just says Happy Times, and I'm going to add that to the left of my photo, and it works really nicely. I wanted somewhere to hold my journaling and I wasn't quite sure how else I was going to do it, so adding a journaling card like this works really well. I'm sad that I'm having to cover up that leaf, but I probably could have cut it out if I really wanted to, but look at how much ephemera there is. There was really no need to do that at all. So I'm popping that number 4 to one side because obviously it's the 4 of us, and I wanted to use that title that says Today Was, and I'm going to complete that with the word Taranto, which is the town that we stopped at. And then I'm just going to find some little bits and pieces to tuck down onto this bottom right hand corner. So I've got that washi sticker, which is the circle with the ink splotches. I'm actually going to keep that on the washi backing so that it's a solid. And also that lovely prepaid pass ticket that came from the papery pack. Well, all of this came from the papery pack, really. So I want to stick that journaling card onto a piece of white cardstock just to provide a little white border and also to stabilise it a little bit. The papers in the project pack are slightly thinner than the older papers that we're used to that are very thick, so I just wanted to add a bit of rigidity with it going over those distressed edges of all those triangles. I didn't want it to be all lumpy. So I've got that little tag that I'm going to put at the top, and that will hold my date. And then I'm just building up again this little cluster on the right hand side. I love that red heart, so I wanted to bring that in. And then I'm going to add my journaling onto this card, just explaining about where we were and how hot it was, and also how we got to the town, because we've done quite a few cruises now. And as the years pass, you do tend to forget whether you had to use a shuttle bus or walk, so I really wanted to get that detail down. So again, with my T-square ruler, just to double check that everything is straight, and then I can get that stuck down. So I'm going to add my date using my roller date stamp to that tag, and then carry on embellishing. So while I'm doing that, please don't forget to check the description box down below. I'll have the playlist of everybody who's joining in on 30 Days of Sketches this month. There are so many videos. There were over 300 the last time I looked. So it's a really great source of inspiration. So do go and check that out. And of course, check Kristen out, who's created the sketch today. So you can see I'm just continuing to stick everything down now. That Today Was, look, you can see I've stuck it slightly wonky, so I do change that. I'm looking at the layout now, and I realised in time before I put it in my album. So I've just peeled that up and then stuck it down properly. So now adding these little bits in this bottom cluster. I do add to that shortly, but this is a good start. It's quite a quick and simple layout for me, really, but I loved how it came together, and I was thrilled with the end result. You know probably from watching me that I don't play an awful lot with rainbow colours, and it was great fun to do that. So there's that cluster started. Here's that number 4 that I was talking about, so I'm just going to tuck that under there and add that to the cluster. Just get that stuck down, and then I can see what else I can add. So now I'm coming in with the alphabets that come in the project pad, and I'm going to spell the place that we were at, which is Taranto. Now I start on this circle element, but there's not enough space and it looks really odd. So I do move it back across onto the triangles, and I'm really happy with the way that looks now it's finished. So just sticking the letters down, and then you can see there I moved it across, and it looks much better like that. Then I find a little word phrase that says captured. So I'm just going to pop that in the bottom right hand corner of that card. And then some of these faux wax seals, which are really sweet. The red one has a little heart on it, and the black one that I'm going to add shortly has the word love. So I'm just going to stick those down. They are washi stickers, so they're semi-see-through. So they sort of meld into the background nicely. So there's the black one, just peeling the backing off and getting that stuck down. Just checking it was straight there. And then I find there's number 1, and Taranto was our first stop on our cruise, so I thought that would work really nicely in that cluster, just to finish the cluster off. And then, of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't add some mixed media, so I'm going to go rainbow order and add splatters all the way across. I'm just moving the ephemera out of the way, and I've got a scrap of white cardstock here. So we'll start with a red ink. I think it was candied apple, and you can see I'm just adding some water and then adding some splatters above and below that triangle, wiping that up and then moving on to the next one. So the next one is almost like a peachy colour, so I used dry marigold for that one, and again just splattering that down onto the triangle. Sorry about the juddering, me being a bit vicious rubbing things on. The next one is spice marmalade, I think I used for that. You can probably read it better than me on this tiny screen that I'm working from. And then the yellow is fossilised amber, I would say. And I would just use any colours that you've got. When you're watering down inks and only adding a tiny splattering like this, it really doesn't matter if they don't match perfectly. This is Mowed Lawn for the green. And it's a good job I've got that card protecting the next bit, because it really does splatter everywhere. The next one is, I think I used, let me check, Salty Ocean, which is a new to me ink pad. And then Speckled Egg, one of my favourites. I think this ink pad's running out actually. I either need to get a re-inker or just treat myself to another pad soon. And then the next one, see, I think this might be Salty Ocean, and the other one was Salvage Patina, I think, that I used for that turquoise. And then finally Chipped Sapphire on this end one, and I do change the positioning of the scrap card that protects the paper. So this time I'm going to protect my photo and splatter all the way across where that triangle goes, and then again at the bottom. And that's the layout complete. Thank you so much for joining me. I shall see you again soon. Bye.